Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Agi, and if you remember, I'm so glad that you're able to join us here today. So I've not been able to post a video the whole of last week, and I know you guys must be wondering where I went. Actually, on the 29th of August 2019 was a really horrible day for me. Like in the morning I woke up okay, and by evening I was going through surgery. So I'm not a good narrator, but I'm going to try to give you the story on what happened. So I've not been able to upload a new video the whole week because I'm still going through the healing process. Like I just had a surgery, so the whole of last week there was no way I could actually make a video. So I'm going to try to give you a detailed, let me just say, a detailed story time on what actually happened on that day, because I woke up feeling okay, and within a few minutes later I was dying, and by evening I was going through surgery. So that is just how your life could change within a snap of a finger. And I really don't know, I think I would have even died, because whatever I went through, some people have even died because of it. So I woke up. I'm just going to try to give you guys a detailed story. Let me just call it like a story time. So I woke up okay. Let me just say I woke up at around 5, and then at around 6:48 is when I got out of bed. So I went to the living room, because usually when I wake up I have things that I do. Like if my kids are going to school, I have to get them ready for school, and if they're not going to school, like for that day, I have to, like, my nanny, after she does her chores, I always try to like clear out whatever she did not do well. So that is what I do, and then probably I take my phone and I try to, know what's going on out there, like on Facebook, on YouTube, and every other thing, and then probably have breakfast and then continue with the rest of the day. So on that day when I woke up, I don't know, I wasn't going through any pain. I was just okay, but my energy levels were kind of down. Yeah. So when I woke up on that day, I went to the living room, and my nanny, when she washes the living room, she at times she pushes the chairs. So I wanted to push back the chairs to where they're supposed to be, but my energy was not just where it is, but I wasn't in any pain. And so I just went and plugged my phone to charge, because I wasn't even in the mood to check whatever was going on out there on the phone. So I just went and plugged on my phone to charge, and then I went and I sat down. Yeah, you're going to excuse me because of my breathing. I don't know, maybe it's because of the surgery, or I don't know what's happening. So I went and I sat down, and I told myself, let me try to see if I can get something interesting to watch on the TV. Maybe my moods will probably come up, or probably change, or maybe I would get energized. I don't know. That was just what I was thinking at the time. So I went and I sat down on the couch, and I tried to look for something to watch, and I found that Power season 6 was out. So I said that was what I was going to watch on that day. So I put Power on and I started to watch. So I didn't watch Power for, like, let's say I just watched it for like 3 minutes. So after 3 minutes I started feeling a lot of pain in my tummy. Like, it was so painful. Like, I don't even know how I would describe it. The same way you cannot describe the labor pain, that is the same way I would describe that pain. Like, I wouldn't describe, if you ask me what I was feeling at that time, like, it was so painful. Like, if I would rate it from 1 to 10, I would say the pain started at a 5. So it was so painful, and I was wondering what was wrong with me. So I just held my stomach, and I thought it would go away, but it wasn't go away. In fact, it was just becoming more and more intense. So I tried to go to the washroom, and I said, if probably it's something that I ate, maybe I would get it out. So I went and sat in the toilet, and there was nothing. I tried to puke, there was nothing. Even getting out from that toilet, it was a struggle for me. So I struggled, and I came out of the toilet, and by that time the pain had gotten to, let's say, a 6 or a 7. Yeah, because it was like changing every minute. Yeah, not even like labor pain where you get the pain and it goes away and you rest. It was just continuous, and it was just becoming more and more intense. So I I went back to the living room. At that time I couldn't even walk straight, so I called my nanny and I told her, hey Mercy, I'm in so much pain, like I don't know what's going on with me. And she was telling me, oh, you know, even me yesterday at night I was feeling like stomach pain. I even tried to tie my stomach. And then I asked her if she was okay now, and she told me that she was okay. So probably I thought that the pain would later go away, but it wasn't go away. In fact, at that time I think we were at a 7. Yeah, so I was crying and I was asking her what is wrong with me. Like I didn't even understand what was going on. Like I've never gone through anything like this. So I started, like at that time the pain was intense. Like I was now just crying, and not crying like tears, like I was just, I don't know, the kind of sounds that I was making, I don't even understand. So I told Mercy that the pain was becoming too much, and she would give me my phone so that I would try to call my husband. So I tried to call my husband at that time, but he wasn't able to pick because he was at work. You know, sometimes it's really hard for him, because sometimes I call him and I don't get him and he calls me back. But at that time he wasn't able to pick, so I couldn't talk to him. I couldn't tell him what was going on. So the pain was now at, let's say, at 8. It was just intense, and I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't get up. I was now lying on the sofa and I couldn't get up. So what happened was, my younger sister, I had my 2 sisters sleeping at that time because it was still early, to around 6:40 something. Yeah, so my younger sister came and she was like, you mean you're in this, you mean you're going through this much pain? Yeah, so I told her that the pain was too much, and she would get my phone so that I would try to, she would try to call my taxi guy, the guy that I usually call for emergencies like this. So I gave her my phone and she tried to call, and the taxi guy was also far away. He couldn't make it. So my other sister by that time had come to the living room, and I told her, you just go and get my insurance cards, because I need to go to the hospital. Like, this pain is just too much. This is not normal. At that time I wasn't even breathing. I was sweating. I had to even remove the jumper that I was wearing, so I was sweating so much. And I don't know, like, I don't even understand what was going through. And at that time I think the pain had gotten to, probably, I think at 10. Like, it was now too much. I couldn't get up. I couldn't do anything. I remember even telling my nanny to get for me some water to drink. I didn't even drink some hot water to drink. I didn't even drink that water. So I just laid down there, and the pain was too much. And I remember at one time I couldn't even talk. Like, I was just crying. Like, I was just wailing. Like, there was nothing I could say. Like, the pain was just too much. So what I remember was me telling my sister to try, I don't know, I was trying to tell her to call my husband, and that is the last thing that I remember. So from there, I'm just going to tell you what I was told happened. So when I passed out, yeah, after removing my jacket, because I was now sweating so much, and then I passed out. Yeah, so after I passed out, what I'm told, I'm just going to tell you guys, like, what I was told happened, because at that time I wasn't sure what was happening, because I passed out. So when I passed out, they told me that my eyes turned white, and then my hands, I was like, you know, when someone is paralyzed and the hands are like this. Yeah, so my hands became like that, and then I straightened my hands, and then my hands became stiff. Like, I was stiff, like they could not even move my hands, and my eyes were white, and it's like I was convulsing. So I don't really know what was going on at that time, because I passed out. And then they now, you know, they were also in a panic, because these things were happening so fast. So they didn't even know what to do. Like, now my nanny, being so dramatic, she started to cry. She was crying, she was moving up and down. I remember they told me that at one time she came and she lied on top of me, and now she was crying. You know how those Nigerian movies they are. She started to cry, and then my sister was like slapping her and telling her, you get up, we need to carry her and take her to the hospital. So they stood up, and then they are confused. Somebody was carrying me from the hand, someone was pulling my leg the other side, the other person, like, they were just confused. I think it's because they panicked. Like, they didn't even expect, like, they just thought it was just a normal stomachache. So at that time they tried to carry me, like, they stood me up. I was still passed out, so they stood me up. When they stood me up, they opened the door. So I think when they opened the door, that, you know, that fresh air, that breeze, yeah, that just hit my face, and then I think I opened my eyes. At that time, now I could see what was happening, but I didn't really understand what exactly was happening. So when I opened my eyes, I just see people crying, and people are crying, and I'm being taken outside, and then I was like, is the house burning? Like, what is happening? Because I didn't really understand what was happening. Yeah. So they got me out and they sat me down on the veranda, because now they had to find a way of taking me to the hospital because I couldn't even walk. So my caretaker, which I'm so glad was there at around that time, and I'm so thankful to him, he came. They tried, and my two of my neighbors, they came and they tried to, you know, they took me outside of the gate, and now we had to get a means of transport to take me to the hospital because nobody there could drive, and we didn't have a car. So they tried to stop cars, you know, they tried to stop cars to take me to the hospital, and nobody was willing to take me. So that was when our caretaker, he ran to the nearest petrol station, and I think a guy who works there, which I'm so grateful for, he was the one who brought his car, and I was put inside, and then I was to be taken to the hospital for at least first aid. So the hospital we went to was still closed because I think it was still too early. So we went to the other one, which was on the opposite side. And when we went to the other one on the opposite side, they did for me a first aid. Like, I was given a painkiller, and they did a blood test. So at that time, my husband had been called, and then he came there and he told me that I had to be transferred to a different hospital. So we had to go to Karen Hospital. So we organized. We didn't. The hospital that I was there at that time, they didn't even finish the blood test because we felt like we could do this one at a better hospital. So we went to Karen Hospital on that day, and I saw a doctor who told me, actually, I've not even told you guys what I was suffering from, but we're going to get to that. So that doctor told me that I had to, she was suspecting that I had probably an ectopic pregnancy. I was shocked because I have an implant. I had Jadel implant in May. I had it put in my arm in May. So this was something that was so shocking for me. And she told me that those things, they're not 100%. So I don't know what we're supposed to do as women. Like, you try this and it backfires. And me, I'm so done having kids. Like, that was the shock of my life. Like, I knew when I put that implant that everything was sorted, and now there was no more having babies. So when the doctor told me that she was suspecting that I was having an ectopic pregnancy, I told her I have an implant, and she told me that implants are not 100%. So she suggested that I would go and do more blood, urine, and a scan. So I went for the scan, and the other test, everything was done. And when I came back to the doctor, she told me I had ovarian cyst. I had an ectopic, no, at that time she told me I didn't have an ectopic pregnancy. That one was ruled out. So she just confirmed that I had an ovarian cyst, which it's like I was bleeding, because when they did the scan, it showed that I had some fluid in my uterus, which they didn't know what was causing that. So she transferred me to a gynecologist who, I went there to her office, and she did a couple of tests, and she told me that most likely I was having an ectopic pregnancy. So this is where, like, my life kind of changed. Like, I was so in shock when she told me I had to go through surgery, like, immediately. Can you imagine? In the morning you woke up okay, and by evening you're going through surgery. Like, ovarian cyst, I don't really know if your doctor has actually told you, or you have it. I think you just better find a good solution for it. Like, I would prefer you just go to see a doctor and just find a solution for it, because these things, they can kill you. So the doctor told me that I was to go through a surgery, and so they prepared me for the surgery, and at around 5:30, I went through the surgery, which was successful. It actually took 2 hours, and I know people who were waiting outside there, they were so they were so tense because they knew this was a surgery that would take probably an hour, but it took like 2 hours, which, you know, when someone is in surgery and takes longer, you know, you start to panic. So when I got out of surgery, I was still, you know, drowsy, and so the doctors and the nurses, they took care of me, and I was in hospital from, let's say, from that Tuesday to Sunday when I left. So guys, I really don't know, like, it's just a miracle that I'm here today and I'm able to make this video today, because I don't really know what they went through. I've heard of people who they collapse and then they have this ovarian cyst which ruptures in your uterus, and they don't go for medical help and they end up dead. Because I was told there was a girl who went through the same thing, but she didn't go to the hospital. The relatives ended, you know, in the village, they start to give you herbs and stuff like that, and she ended up dead by evening. So I really don't know, like, I don't even know. I was suffering from ovarian cyst. I had, and after the surgery they confirmed that I also had an ectopic pregnancy, which I'm still in shock today, because I have an implant, so I don't even understand what is going on with these things. I don't even know what to use anymore, because I trusted the implant and it really let me down. I don't even know if I'm going to, you know, have another one put in, but I'm going to talk to my gynae when I go back for checkup in 2 weeks time. I think she'll be in a better position to answer me. But even this one was installed by a gynae, and a really professional gynae, like someone who I knew. There was no backfiring, but you know, you can never blame him, because these things are not 100%, and they tell you when you go there. So I was among the probably 2% or the 1% who would still get pregnant with an implant. So guys, I'm so glad that I'm here today and I'm able to make this video. I don't know if you've understood my story or if I've narrated it properly, but I just hope that it would, you know, give you a heads up, or it would like make you go to hospital. Because I saw a post on Facebook on that day when I was in hospital of someone saying she was giving up because she's pregnant and she has ovarian cyst. So I would really recommend that if you're that person, that just go for medical checkup, go see a gynae, because these things are, they're life-threatening, and if you're not serious, you might end up dead. Yeah, so I don't know if you're pregnant, because mine was ectopic, so they just cleaned it and they removed it and they cleaned me, and I'm still able to have kids, but I'm not having kids very soon. So you guys just excuse my breathing, it's because of the surgery. So guys, I'm so glad that you guys are able to watch today. And if you haven't subscribed, and I would really urge you to subscribe, because I have a lot of things that I have to guys over, and I'm also going to be giving you updates of my recovery. Right now the wound, it's been like 2 weeks and my wound is okay. Like, I was given painkillers and I was on antibiotics when I was in the hospital, and they took good care of me, and I'm so glad that I'm here today. I think even if I didn't go to that hospital, maybe it would have been something different, because the hospital where I went to have their first aid, I don't think I would have survived this. So guys, just subscribe and see you in my next video. I'm so glad that you guys are able to watch today.